All right. Welcome back to the True Strength podcast. You have the crew here. You got Coach Taylor, Coach Scott, Coach Tanner, and myself, Coach John. How we all doing?
Good, man. I'm good. How are you?
Good, Taylor. You enjoying winter down in New Zealand?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Okay. Only comes around once a year, so you got to enjoy it when it's here.
Scott and Tanner, how hot does it get in Austin?
Not as hot as Dubai.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, I'm not going to complain, bro. It's not what you're going through.
We were just talking about this briefly before we got on this call. Taylor and Tanner, do you remember being out here in the UAE, out in the desert, and we went out to the farm,
Miko?
and
Yeah,
we
of course.
did some workout that was running over the dunes and then back in the gym for like an hour. Do you guys remember that?
I do. Like we were doing basically hill sprints up a freaking sand dune.
In the middle of summer. It was like, so it was around 45 degrees. So that's like 110, 115. The sand was hot. Everything was hot.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad.
I do remember that. I remember thinking Miko Aronpa, who's an amazing guy, great CrossFitter. He was the guy to beat. And I was like, all right, man, whatever this guy's doing, I'm doing it. I'm not going to let him outwork me. That was like literally, yeah. Of course I remember.
Yeah. Just creating core memories there.
Yeah.
We were ahead of the curve for heat training, bro. We were ahead of the curve.
That's it for sure.
I mean, Scott, I assume you had some pretty hot training camps back in the day as well.
Brutal. None were as bad as Rice University with Tanner, because we had this turf. All right. It was in Houston. It was humid. Got to be about what, Tanner? I think they measured at like 135 on the turf in our stadium for training.
Yeah, because you had those really tiny black rubber pellets that just, dude, soak up all the heat. Yeah, it's not great, man. It's not, and Houston's just hot and humid too.
Yeah.
And dude, you're wearing a helmet. And when you're wearing a helmet and football pads, it makes it that much worse too.
You guys play on turf? You guys had field turf when you were at Rice?
Yeah. Sure.
Did you have an indoor that you guys used or no?
Yeah. Not our own. We would literally hop on buses and we would get bused to the Houston Texans indoor facility and we'd practice there.
That's not bad.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to go where you're complaining.
How hot did South Carolina get?
South Carolina's not that like it's not desert hot, but it's humid hot. Like Columbia, South Carolina sits in a geographic hole, and it's so there's very little wind or whatever, and the humidity just sits on you. So it'll be like in the summer, it's usually around 100, maybe 98, 100, but the humidity is like 85 to 95%. Like it's quite suffocating. Is how I would describe it.
Yeah, brutal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to cooling off. Anyways, yeah, we can carry on.
Yeah. So look, a question we talked about, we're gonna answer first. All of us we're in our later 30s. I can say that for another month. And just a question I want to ask, like, when was the last time you weren't sore or you didn't have something, at least a little niggly or a little hurt, and you just felt really good or perfect? I mean, Scott, do you want to start? When's the last time the whole body was like, oh, everything's good?
Like, I don't know, when I was like 18, maybe 17 years old. I can't tell you the last time. I really couldn't. But just being smart and training around injuries has been something I've done for a long time. It's just part of my training now. And I think most people my age, older, can say the same thing,
Absolutely.
Yeah, fair.
I'll go ahead and chime in on that. I was actually going to say the same thing as Scott, more or less. I was like, dude, when I was in high school, okay, like the last time that my body felt perfect, I didn't have a niggle, some kind of, pain, ache. Dude, it would had to have been, dude, high school, probably summer before football season started, before you took some dings and things like that.
So you probably weren't training
Obviously,
very hard.
what's that?
Just
It
keep
wasn't training very
going.
hard. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but man, the last time that I actually felt perfect, dude, you could really ask that to probably any middle-aged adult, and they're probably going to say when I was a kid. Even if you don't train or exercise or played sports, if you're just sedentary and you're just unhealthy, I guarantee your body still hurts. Your back's going to hurt. Something's going to hurt just from neglect.
Mhm.
So I would much rather have a bit of, discomfort or pain from taking care of myself than neglecting myself. But yeah, it's been a long time, man. My shoulder hurts right now. I still did bench press this morning. Just whatever. I just deal with it. What about Taylor, John? What about you guys?
I would say that you have a new normal, or at least I've had a new normal. Like as I've gotten older, clearly I've had operations, I've had surgeries, I've had issues, so on and so forth. But to be frank, man, for me to be perfect, I honestly think soreness has to be involved in how I'm feeling, man. Because I guess without a niggle or anything was probably 4 months ago before I popped my supraspinatus again. I actually felt really good. Like I could have my full range of motion. I could perform all the lifts and stuff that I wanted to perform. But for perfect, soreness is a sign that I'm able to do the things that I want to really do for the most part. All right. And this was kind of a question I was thinking about for maybe a later podcast is what people actually do for vacation. Like, what do you really want to do when you feel good and have the time to do so? But for me, I'd probably say it's about, 4 months ago before I popped my supraspinatus. Like, I wasn't free of injury or issue because of, the life that I've had. And I've kind of got to work with those things. But probably about 4 or 5 months ago, man, is the last time I felt like I could do anything that I wanted to do whenever I wanted to do it.
That's a good way
Fair.
to frame it. You could do
Yeah.
anything that you wanted to do when you wanted to do it. That's a great way to frame it.
Yeah, for sure.
What
Because
about you, John?
probably the same. Like high school is probably the last time like everything felt really good. But kind of like I think for a lot of our clients who let's say they are in their 30s and they're training heavier than they ever have, they're probably like, oh, am I hurt? My shoulder, am I hurt? And it's so. I mean, maybe the better question is at what point do you say, okay, no, I need to stop? Or it's like, hey, it's sore, your shoulder's sore. You gotta work through it because if you do want to lift, if you want to back squat 400 pounds, you're going to have to deal with some shit, right?
On 100%. Okay. And dude, you have to separate. There's a big difference between like pain, discomfort, and injury. Okay. I deal with pain and discomfort every single day. Okay. We all do. I guarantee that. Anytime if you're an advanced trainee, any person that's strong, I guarantee is dealing with some kind of pain or discomfort on a daily basis. If you've never been strong and you want to get strong, just understand there's going to be some aches and pains associated with that. Okay. It just comes with the territory. And I like to tell people, no one gets through this life pain free. You know, you're gonna deal with pain some way, some shape, and some form, but you do get to choose how you, I guess, experience that pain. Dude, you can experience that pain or discomfort on a daily basis, going to the gym, grinding out, getting strong, doing squats and deadlifts, whatever, doing pain, discomfort or uncomfortable conditioning pieces. Or you can experience the pain and discomfort of, dude, going to the doctor, from a heart attack when you're, 55 years old. And then you're stuck on whatever blood pressure medications and you have to have all these different procedures done because you've neglected yourself. So it's like, dude, it's your choice how you experience kind of the pain and discomfort. I'd rather choose it on a daily basis, small amounts, okay, but be healthy rather than having a catastrophic, potentially life ending event happen way too early in life. Anyways, I don't want to talk anymore on that, but yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's very fair.
And
Yeah.
for me, as a rule of thumb, if you feel something pop, that's a pretty obvious sign. All right. And then with tendonitis and things like that, usually you can work through it. So the longer you train, the more you can kind of differentiate and know the difference.
Yeah.
I just want to elaborate real quick. So when Scott said when you feel something pop, anybody, you will know when you're injured. Okay. Like when I felt my ACL tear, pop. It was like a gunshot going off. Okay. When I broke my ankle deadlifting, I heard and felt these tendons or ligaments in my ankle pop. Like I knew I was hurt. I was like, okay, this is an injury. I am fucked. You'll know if you really injure yourself, you're going to know it. And then you're not going to be able to do anything you want to do whenever you want to do it. That's when you're injured. Like I can still do pretty much anything I want to do whenever I want to do it. It may not feel perfect. My shoulder might hurt, but I can still do a bench press. I can still do a muscle up. So I'm not hurt. It just might, be a little uncomfortable. So Scott, that's a good, delineation of, yeah, if you feel something pop, and you literally can't move some limb or some part of your body, that's an injury. But if you can move your body, you're all right. It's just a little bit painful or a little bit uncomfortable, dude, that's probably totally fine. And you're probably going to be able to work through it, get warmed up, and get your workout done that day.
Okay.
Anyways.
And that brings me actually to the next point. Warm-ups. I know everyone has a little bit of a different theory on warm-ups, but so I guess question will go around. What do you do for a warm-up, and is it the same for every workout? Taylor, do you want to start?
No, my warm-up's not the same for every workout because I work out different parts of my body, right, on like a different split or whatever. But my warm-ups for the days that I'm doing a squat are the same. My warm-up for the days that I'm snatching are the same. Days that I'm overhead pressing are the same, right? So I've just basically got this, 4 sets of movements that I go through for each day that, I'm always going to start with a pulse raise, like hop on a rower if I'm, hinging, right? I'll hop on a bike if I'm going to be squatting, right? Just to kind of hit the same muscle group. And then I just go through mobility stuff. I'll wrap my hips, get into some squats, make sure my ankles are loose and everything. But so the long answer to say they're not the exact same, but I do the same stuff for the same movements. Right?
Okay. And then, okay, Scott, you go next and just, how about warm-ups for you?
I used to take a really long time to warm up. This is kind of the thought in football, just really long, like 30-minute warm-ups. Okay. Just brutally long warm-ups. I've learned since then, and since I've had less time with a family, kids, that your body will adapt to a much shorter warm-up. All right. It took some time to condense the warm-up down, but now, ask Tanner this morning, we were benching. I rolled in there. I think I started at 225. That was my warm up. 225 just rolled right into my working sets after that. I will say I'm always warming up to a single at my working weight, at least a single at my working weight, and then I just roll into it. My body has adapted to a much shorter warm up now. It's nice.
Yeah, and I just want to clarify, we're not recommending that everyone, just loads the bar up with 225 and start warming up with that. Okay. So just, yeah, important to do that. Most people can't do that anyways, but Scott, were you done? Was there anything else you wanted to say on that?
The point I was trying to make is that I've been able to condense my warm up, to a single, to one single at my working set.
Yeah, I agree. Has anyone ever seen the movie Zombieland with Woody Harrelson?
Yeah, dude.
Does anyone remember that
limber?
part? Yeah, like
rule, whatever it is, limber up.
Yeah, limber up or something where he's talking about it. He's like, do you ever see a lion stretch or limber up before it's about to go attack a gazelle or something like that? And I always thought there was like a lot of inherent truth to that. I feel like a lot of people, they put way too much thought or consideration into their warm-ups, or they're doing the foam rolling, they're stretching, all of this stuff.
Well, Tanner, what's your warm-up like? Because I know you have pretty intense warm-ups.
They can be. So my warm-ups have gotten kind of probably even a little bit shorter, at least later this year, mainly because, I get to the gym at like 5:15, 5:20, and Andrew, who we train with, he's like, we're rolling at 5:30 pretty much. But I do what Taylor says, a pulse raise. I kind of like how you said that. I'll get on a rower or a biker. I'll start moving my body. I really like a rower or an assault bike because it involves most joints in your body, and you're going to get your heart rate up and elevate your core temperature. Then I really particularly enjoy doing total body general dynamic exercises like a bear crawl, a crab walk, or even like you're in like a push-up position and then you'll walk laterally left or right. I love doing air squats, those basic things. So total body general style warm-ups, maybe two sets of each. Then depending on what we're doing in the gym that day, you'll start picking up a barbell and you'll start warming up that barbell movement that you're doing for that particular workout. Exactly what Taylor was saying. And that because that makes the most sense. And any good warm up can be done, honestly, in 5 to 10 minutes from start to finish if you know what you're doing and you know you're not wasting time. But that's what my warm ups look like generally now.
Okay.
What about you? What
How
about you,
about you,
John? You
John?
still do the rower, John?
It depends on the day. So, I've actually thought about this, and kind of like you said, Scott, if I'm going in and I'm just benching, my warm up is like 4 minutes, maybe 3. Like I'm just going to move around, maybe a couple pull ups, push ups, and then I'm like, all right, let's get it on there. 60 or, 135, 225, and then, you just start adding from there. But that being said, if I'm going and I'm snatching and I have to get into an overhead squat position where my ankles, my knees, my hips, everything has to be open, it's at least 20 minutes. I have to, like you said, get your heart rate up, and then you got to do some mobility work, and then you got to eat that barbell. You got to start moving through it. So I've realized that there's two very different things depending on the workout.
Yeah.
So, but obviously, like we all agree, they are important, and yeah, go on, Tanner.
No, that's you literally took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, I think we all agree as experienced, trainers doing this for many years, we can all agree on the importance of a good general warm up for any workout, pretty much for any person. I think that's a pretty, unanimous, that's where we're reached of a consensus on that. And I think warm ups they're important. They kind of set the tone for your workout. Don't skip your warm up. Use it as a good opportunity to kind of gauge how you're feeling that day. Like, dude, I would never want to just roll into like a bench press session and load it up with 225. Dude, what if my pec or my insertion on my pec isn't feeling good? I want to be able to feel how, a empty barbell, then, 135 before I put some kind of heavy weight on there. Because, dude, if you're not feeling that good, dude, that's when an injury could occur. And a warm up it kind of tells you and your body, like, all right, how you're feeling that day, how well you're recovered. Are there any aches and pains, that you may not have known about before you actually start getting your body moving? So warm ups, I think, are extremely important. They should be done, for everybody should do some kind of warm up, and it doesn't take that long, 5-10 minutes. That's all I wanted to say.
Taylor,
I don't want
do
to
you have?
go. I don't want to go off on too far of a tangent, but do you change your warm up based upon the climate outside? So you're in Texas, you go into the gym, it's 110 degrees. Are you going to warm up for the same duration and way if you came here and you warm up and it's fucking 20 degrees outside?
What I do in my warm up would not change. The duration of my warm up may change. Like actually this morning, I noticed me, Andrew, and Scott warmed up a bit longer because, dude, we're feeling pretty banged up, or it's, not, we did lower body yesterday. And so I was dragging ass this morning. So I needed like an extra 5-10 minutes just to get my mind right to like, get under some respectable weight on bench. And I work out now with like, I'm fully clothed with like sweats and like a hoodie on, just so I elevate my core temperature. So that helps me get warmed up a bit faster. But if I was working out like cold, like if I was in the winter in New Zealand, dude, I'd be wearing a lot of clothing, and I might warm up longer just to elevate my core temperature. But the actual, what I would do in my warm up really wouldn't change. I would just do more of whatever I would be doing for that workout.
But
That makes sense.
Yeah, Taylor, like when it's cold out, you need a longer warm up for me for sure. Like, ugh. I did actually, Tanner, when you talk about clothing when it comes to working, I did have someone ask me this the other day, and they were like, "What's with Tanner's belly tops?" And so maybe we should address that.
We got to address that. I'm going to bring those back, and I'll tell you exactly what that is about. A couple weeks ago, me, Scott, and Andrew were just reminiscing when we played in like our freshman year. We were given these crop tops that you'd wear under your football pads, and those would be our lift shirts, and we all wore them. And we were like, damn, those were fucking cool. And so then I was bored last week and had some time on my hands. So I took one of my shirts and I cut the crop off or whatever. I cropped it. And I was like, man, I want to fucking wear this to work out, so Scott and Andrew can see me. And I wore it and I had some big squats. I did good. They didn't even say anything about it. It's like they almost expected me to wear it. And I'm going to bring that back because I'm going to bring that back in vogue.
Bro, I didn't even think anything of it.
I know you didn't. Neither did Andrew. You guys didn't even say anything about it.
Totally normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had a crop. You had a cutoff crop.
Yeah, I had a cutoff, and it was like cut off like at the upper belly.
Yeah.
And I wore it. I might wear it on our next workout just because, or I might make some more. Maybe that's just what I'll start wearing exclusively.
I have a ton.
It was Aaron Agnew who asked me.
Oh yeah. It's just an old football thing. Football thing.
All right. Well, look, we're going to get into questions because we do have a lot from our clients, and we want to get to them all. We didn't get to them all last week, just with our guests. So we're going to start with the first one. This comes from Gavin. He says, what are examples of strong self-talk during adversity in and outside of the gym? What are examples of strong self-talk during adversity in and outside of the gym? I mean, just that fucking I can do it,
Yeah.
Like,
dude, that's actually a great question. What do you guys tell yourself? I mean, I know what I tell myself.
Well, for me, and I was thinking about it this morning, and I think I was telling you, Tanner, a little bit, but just literally envisioning yourself doing it, in a positive visualization, just freaking doing it, like lifting the weights. I was going to bring this up on the warm-up question too, like that's definitely part of my warm-up. I know what weights, I know what reps, sets I'm hitting, right? I'm seeing myself do that before it's actually done. And so that gets your brain ready to actually lift that weight. And if you're doing it in your head and you're visualizing yourself either lift the weights or accomplishing whatever it is, you living in this new house, like whatever it is you want in life, if you visualize yourself doing that and you're always doing that, man, that's going to become your new reality. So that's definitely something I incorporate just as far as that self-talk,
Yeah. I'll give a quick example just specifically for you, Scott. Before you bench pressed 500 pounds, you visualized yourself doing it probably many, many times, and then you manifested it. You made it happen. So visualization, manifestation, all that self-help guru shit, that's fucking real. All right. I'm telling everybody that. All right. Whether you believe me or not, it is.
All right.
Taylor?
Taylor, go ahead.
I'm not a big motivation guy, right? So I'm not going to really be a motivational speaker or get up like that, man. I think it's just more about perspective and approach to it. All right. For me, understanding the task and understanding what I need to do to complete the task and then visualizing myself doing it is kind of what I do. But I'm not like shouting down my inner little bitch when I'm working out or whatever. Okay. What I typically do is I look what I got to do. I come up with a goal, whether I'm doing it, and I try to focus on that one piece, whether it be like a 2K row. And I'm like, hey, I need to hold a 141. When I don't hold it, I just think to myself, I got to get back down. Okay. It's just really just keeping it in perspective and setting micro goals to attain throughout the workout. All right. But I'm not a huge motivation guy for the most part. I just have a task and I do my best to complete it.
Got it. All right. I'm going to actually read you guys a quote I heard a long, long time ago, but as someone who's lived in a bunch of different countries and traveled to a bunch of different countries, the iron never lies to you. You can walk outside and listen to all kinds of talk, get told that you're a god or a total bastard. The iron will always kick you the real deal. The iron is the great reference point, the all-knowing perspective giver, always there like a beacon in the pitch black. I have found the iron to be my greatest friend. It never freaks out on me, never runs. Friends may come and go, but 200 pounds is always 200 pounds. And
Henry Rollins.
And it's just kind of like, look, shit's going to happen in life. It's not always going to be perfect, but guess what? 225 pounds on that bar is 225 pounds. Doesn't matter what's happening. And so that's kind of, one of my sort of things I take into it.
Yeah, I'll
I
answer
like
this.
that.
Yeah, I
That's
like
good.
that.
Yeah.
One thing, I think perspective is huge. And so I never skip workouts ever because I know what it's like not to be able to work out because I've had a lot of injuries. I spent 3 years of my life either in like a walking boot, on crutches, or in a wheelchair. So over 3 years of my life, I've been unable to walk normally. So I have a unique perspective that a lot of people don't have. And it's like, I always just remember, dude, I don't have to work out. I fucking get to. Okay. And so I think back on the days where I'm really tired, unmotivated. I think to myself, dude, if I'm healthy enough to work out, then it's a fucking good ass day. And then yeah, I go work out and I crush it. I never skip workouts. And then what I do is I just think about all of the people around the world that are less fortunate than I am. People that are sick, dying, bedridden, don't have legs. I think of those people, and those people would literally give anything in the world to be healthy enough just to exercise. And if I'm going to bitch out on my workout because I don't feel like it, man, then I'm actually being a bitch. And so when you kind of adopt that mindset and that perspective, that's some positive self-talk that it's never failed me.
Okay. Gavin's second question: tips for adding noticeable arm size for dudes with long, lanky arms. Do them? Do more arms, Tanner? Scott? Tanner?
Scott? All right. I'm not the tallest guy, okay? But I do have pretty long arms for my size. And this actually, my best answer for you, Gavin, get to where you can do 20 strict pull-ups or chin-ups, and then get to where you can do at least 10 weighted pull-ups and weighted dips with 25 to 30% of your body weight. And not only will your arms get significantly larger, your entire upper body will. Okay. That is my honest to God best tip for getting bigger arms. So many guys are concerned about, what's the best bicep exercise, the best tricep exercise to get bigger arms. And like, they don't even have like a 225 bench. They can't even do 10 weighted pull-ups. So they're just underdeveloped and undertrained systemically, but they're distracted and confused thinking about, what bicep exercise, what isolation should I do? Like, no, dude, get freaking strong at the big compounds, train the system, and your entire body will get bigger. And then you're not going to be distracted or worry about your biceps because your arms are going to be big no matter what. If you get a big bench, a big weighted pull up, a big weighted dip, that's my advice.
Yeah. So I agree. Sorry, my kid's here, so I'm having to mute the mic. But yeah, man, it's funny because guys who are worried about their arm size, ironically, they hold themselves back by doing curls and tricep extensions or whatever else and not focusing on just getting stronger in the compounds. So really, ironically, if you're thinking about trying to get bigger arms and then you're taking the time to isolate these movements, you're just wasting time, and you're not adding real size. So I agree with you, Tanner. It's good.
Yeah.
Taylor?
I think if you're overly concerned with your arms and you want to have bigger arms, anything and all things are going to be through the compound lifts, man. You just get bigger, you get stronger by moving through the compound lifts, as I said. No need to reiterate it, but then just add in some stuff at the end. But I mean, for the most part, different people build different muscle tissue. Like I remember being in college and walking around. I just had these teammates that were just insanely jacked, but I was way stronger than they were. All right. And that's just kind of, some people have a propensity to build larger muscle tissue than other people. But if you're overly concerned about it, don't get caught up and think about isolating is the way to do it. Okay. Isolating can serve as an accessory. It's why we call it an accessory lift to your primary core lifts, man. But like you said, dips, chin-ups might hit the bicep a little bit more than a pull-up. All right. But yeah, man, just focus on getting stronger and moving heavy loads.
Yeah. John, you probably got the biggest arms on this podcast. What advice do you have?
Man,
It's debatable. No
I
offense,
actually
Scott. No
think
offense.
like arm size is just like I think a lot of it is luck and genetics. Honestly, you find some people with big arms, some people with small arms, some real strong dudes without big arms, some weaker guys that have big arms. So I think it is fairly genetic. Not
Well,
not
what's the
totally,
best
but
advice you'd give to Gavin? What's for sort of his example?
same as you
What?
guys, like pull-ups, compound lifts. That is what's going to build real muscle. Um, but I do
Yeah,
think, some isolation stuff, as long as you are not taken away from those compound lifts.
yeah. I'll just say this: I've never met a guy that could do 10 weighted pull-ups with 60 pounds or 10 weighted dips with 80 pounds that had small arms. Never seen a guy able to do that with small arms.
Yeah, they could
So
probably
take that
curl
for
a
what you
lot
will.
too, though. You know what I mean? But we like in our program, we had some isolation at the end, but we won't even program the weights. It's just for like a pump. That's how little it matters. All right, I'll just say
Yeah,
that.
Scott Johnson, the guy who signed up yesterday, he wanted a workout before his consultation, so I wrote him a workout. I deleted those isolation exercises out of it because I was like, dude, I might just edit that workout template and I might take it out altogether, or I might just leave it as optional for people. I've been thinking about it, but anyways,
I think if we
Yeah.
take out the arms, we'll probably get more complaints than we realize. Bro, I love the arm
Yeah.
part. I love that part. Okay.
yeah.
Grant Burnett, he asked the first question about creatine. He says, do we believe in creatine loading for someone not taking it? Then when in supplementing creatine is the best time of the day post versus pre-workout serving size. We have touched on this, I think, in maybe 2 other calls. So does anyone want to just talk about it super quick and we'll move on? Tanner, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Grant, there's no need to do a creatine loading phase unless you just want to spend more money on creatine. Okay. It's unnecessary. Grant, I know specifically take 10 grams a day every single day and your muscles will get saturated with enough creatine just the same as it would with a loading phase. Okay. The loading phase was honestly a marketing scheme that got people to spend more money on creatine. So supplement companies got you to spend more money. No need for it. I wouldn't do it. Take 10 grams a day for you, Grant, because you're already a strong, muscular guy.
And when is the best time of day? Post, pre-workout?
The time you remember doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whatever time of day that you remember to take it consistently, do that.
Okay. And then Grant has another question. It's an opinion question. Is it harder for a skinny guy to bulk or for a fat guy to get shredded?
No way to tell, man. It depends on the person and then the discipline they're going to use when they're training and eating. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Tanner?
I would say if the fat guy is strong, it's way easier for the fat guy to get shredded than it is for the skinny guy to bulk because it's going to take anybody at least 3 to 5 years of hard ass consistent training to lay down a foundation to get jacked. Okay. So if you take some skinny, untrained pencil neck kid, it's going to take that kid 3 to 5 years to get jacked. But if you take some guy who's already pretty strong, okay, that's built a foundation that's just fat because he's undisciplined, you take that strong guy, that fat, strong guy, and just you put him on a big enough calorie restriction, that guy can be shredded and jacked in whatever 3, 6, 12 months, just depends. I think it's personally harder to take a skinny kid to jacked than it is to take a fat guy down to shredded.
I'd agree with that.
I
Now,
100% agree.
if you're fat and weak, then you're just fucked. And it's going to take you a long time either way.
Yeah. You can always just reduce calories on a fat guy, and they are going to get skinny no matter what. But skinny guys getting big is tough.
So it just
Okay.
takes time. Takes time. That's it.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
why you never want to be skinny fat, It's like that's the worst. Don't be skinny
That's the
fat.
worst. Okay. Next question here comes from David Lazenby, and he says, I'm 48 and a lifetime natty, recovering from serious injuries. I work 84 to 110 hours a week, and I'm making huge gains. According to most science-based guys, this is impossible without juice. How am I doing it successfully, and how can others do the same? Well, that's a good question, David. How do you do it? But Tanner, go ahead.
I can answer this because I like David Lazenby, great guy. Lives and works in Alaska. And he's just got the right mindset, dude. He like works construction, hard ass labor, and he's just got a basic barbell setup at his house where he trains, like a rack and a barbell. That's it. I think he does his pull ups like in a door jam. So David's mindset is his greatest asset, and he does fucking barbell training, and David gets after it. That's why he's been able to do it. And these science-based guys, when you just get strong with a barbell, you're consistent and you train hard, dude, you're going to build strength and muscle. Okay. And you will make really good gains. You don't need steroids, necessarily at all. That's how you're doing it, David.
Yeah, I would say exactly. Like David, he's been with us long. He works his ass off, and that's the secret.
For his mindset.
Yeah. Okay, the next question comes from Madar, and he says, "Hey, coaches, I hope you're having a great day. I wanted to ask you if you could get extremely better on one exercise, which would it be? So if you can just get a whole lot better on one certain exercise, what would it be? I know mine. I'd get better at bench, so I can bench 400. But anyone else?
I would want to get better at a deadlift, right? And there's a reason that mine's not very good or whatever. But for me, my squat has always been an absurd percentage of my deadlift, right? Because to be fair, I've never actually truly done like a heavy deadlift cycle. I've always shifted more towards like clean pulls and deficit snatch stuff and like Olympic Oli stuff. But I think it'd be pretty cool to pull like a triple body weight deadlift or something like that, man.
At one point, Taylor, is your heaviest ever squat heavier than your heaviest ever deadlift?
No, but it was literally like a 10 kilo difference between the two of them.
So they were really close.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I was pulling like a 240 something deadlift, and I was back squatting like 230 something.
It's insane.
Yeah. How about you, Scott?
Yeah, that is strong.
Are we allowed to say squat?
Tanner's not.
Say whatever you want.
It's like that's going to translate over to deadlift. It's going to translate over to everything.
Yeah.
The better you can get at squat, the better all your lifts get, and including bench press too. Your bench press, you'll get stronger at bench press squatting. So that would be my number one.
I mean, I'm the same. If I could, I would have my squat go up more than my bench.
Yeah.
Tanner, what about you?
That's the greatest strength transfer is like, I just want to designate like getting a bigger squat is not actually going to make you better at bench pressing. The reason your bench press will probably get better is because if your squat goes up, you probably become a bigger man, bigger person. And when you're just a bigger man, you're going to be able to bench press more weight because weight moves weight. But my specific answer is my overhead press or my bench press. Probably my overhead press because my overhead press is my weakest lift. It's dog shit. I want to be able to overhead press like 200 pounds. I've never been able to do it, which in my eyes is like, man, it's kind of pathetic because I don't even have like a body weight overhead press. So that would be my area that I want to build up. I've been trying for years. It hasn't gotten worse, but it hasn't gotten significantly better. The only time when my overhead press got bigger or better is when I got like fat, when I got up to like 220 pounds and I was just a little doughboy. But because I was a bigger guy, my overhead press got stronger. But as my body weight crept up, my overhead press still stayed well below my body weight, if that makes sense. So I was like, I was like a dog chasing its tail. So then I just like moved on to something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I guess the same question for your clients. Would you want to get one exercise you'd want them to get better at? I mean, he says for Tanner, other than the squat, man, because we already know, but I think it's just the same answer. We'd all, if everyone got better at squats, they'd be better at everything. Am I
Literally
I'm wrong? Yeah.
No, that's pretty much the only right answer in my opinion.
Okay.
All right.
Moving on to the next one here.
We're crushing these. We're rolling through these. It's good. It's got some good questions. Bro, this podcast is so much better because we get so many more questions.
This comes from from Josh, and he says, as a man over 50, I keep seeing materials saying for those over 50, be careful as to not overtrain. How do I know what my limit is to work out without risking overtraining? Yeah, go ahead, Tanner.
Well, I mean, I know Josh is a great guy, really good, strong mindset as well. And this is, Josh, you got to get out of that age fallacy. Just because you're over 50 doesn't mean you have to stop training hard or you have to worry about, overtraining. Like, honestly, the majority of people do not need to worry about overtraining. Majority of people should worry more about undertraining than overtraining. Okay. Now, the indicators of overtraining are generally going to be extreme fatigue, low motivation, like zero desire to go to the gym, and your body is just banged up, hurting all the time. Those are generally the symptoms of an overtrained lifter. If as long as you're not feeling unmotivated, banged up, super tired, and like you don't feel like going to the gym, you're probably not overtrained. And I would not worry about whatever material is that you're consuming saying that, oh, you have to train less just because you're over 50. That's so arbitrary and random. I guarantee I have another client named John Bowers, 51, no, natural. Okay. Still deadlifts 500 for 3 reps. He bench presses 315 for 5 reps. He's over 50. He's not worried about overtraining. He's just strong. He's been doing it for a long time. And so don't think about that. That's my answer.
Right.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
also,
I totally agree with that.
I did too. I did too. So you said, Tanner, you're saying motivation, right? I'd also say like, joint pain. You're not recovering like you're used to. Josh is really dialed in with his diet. So I know Josh is getting the proper macros, protein intake, calories for recovery. So specifically for Josh, man, it's like, if you're noticing a difference in your recovery and the way the weight's moving, then those are good indicators. And Tanner's exactly right about the age thing. It's amazing being part of this program, coaching here, because I've gotten to see, all different age ranges and how 65-year-old guy, can progress just like a 35-year-old guy, just like a 25-year-old guy. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Taylor, you want to chime in on that?
It's just like a hard question to answer, man. When people say, well, what is overtraining? When am I going to be overtrained? Well, it just kind of really depends, man. And I think the number one indicator is going to be your performance. All right. And basically how your joints and I guess physical well-being are, man. All right. And different people experience different symptoms or whatever. But like you say, I don't think people need to be so considered or so concerned with their age when they're moving into it. All right. Like the common belief that, oh, you're getting older, you need to slow down has gotten society to a shitty place where we've got this old geriatric inactive population, man. Like you can do really hard things later on in life, man, whether it's 50, 65 or 70, man. And this is kind of evident in other countries. Like America is in a sad spot when you look at the average physical condition of an individual, right? And it only kind of gets worse with age. So, man, don't listen to people tell you that you need to slow down when you get older, man. If you fucking feel good, keep going, right? Do what you do. If you can do what you want to do and how you want to do it, then fucking keep doing it, okay? And if something's starting to slow down, you're getting niggles or injuries or your motivation, or you can't get out of bed, that might be something to look into. But for the most part, man, you're not overtrained, okay? You just need to get up and do it.
John, you want to add to that anything?
No, I agree with what you guys said. I think you've touched on everything. Josh's second question, which is more important, hitting a calorie number or protein intake each day?
It's a hard one.
Yeah, well, I think it's because it depends on the individual. Okay, it really does. It kind of depends on the individual. Like for me, or for any of us on this podcast, I don't think we're necessarily concerned about how many calories we're eating because we're already lean and very muscular. But I do think I go out of my way to make sure I get in at least 220 grams of protein a day. Okay, I'm not worried if I'm eating, 3,200 calories a day versus 3,500, but I am concerned about getting my 220 grams of protein. Okay, it depends on the individual. And I want to make this broadly applicable to everybody listening. If you're overweight and you're fat and you want to lose weight, your calories are probably that probably takes precedent over your protein. All right. But if you're already lean and muscular trying to maintain, then I think your protein could maybe take precedent over your calories. It just depends on where you're at and your goals.
You know
Scott?
what though? Now that I'm kind of thinking about it, think about these people that take GLPs. They go into a huge calorie deficit. They're not eating enough protein. Okay, and for me, it's like the protein part of it that really screws them up. Plus, we said it earlier in this call, it takes so long to get strong and to build muscle. You don't want to lose it. So make sure you're getting enough protein. And in that regard, I'd say protein is more important. You hold on to your muscle, then, if you're over on calories, you could always just go to the deficit, hold the protein, and at least maintain your strength and your muscle.
Actually, I have a question I want to ask all of you right after this. John, do you want to answer that though for Josh?
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, protein is important, but not if you just say, oh, well, I got 220 grams of protein. Fuck it. I can have 3,000 calories or 4,000. So, yeah, you can't say the calorie is not important because, if you just say, fuck it, I'm going to have 3 pieces of cake because I got my protein in, it doesn't work like that. Right. So, I think they're both important, honestly.
Yeah, and that's why
You
it's
can't
really
really
hard
make
to.
one is a more important. It's just
Yeah.
I
you got
agree
to
with
get your
you,
protein. You can't be an asshole with your calories.
but I've like thought about this a lot, and like you know how there's so many fat, unhealthy, overweight people all over the world. Okay, just imagine if the entire population of the world ate their body weight in grams of protein every day. If every single person on this earth did that consistently for whatever 3 years, do you think there would be an obesity epidemic in the world?
There would definitely be a protein shortage.
I
100%.
knew you were going to say that. I was thinking that too. I was like, save some of that protein for me, please.
I was going to
Okay.
say.
But if if people did that, because I know this is true. The reason that people get fat and they gain weight is because they grossly undereat protein their entire life and they grossly overeat carbs and fats. Okay, so just imagine if everyone stopped undereating on protein. If you ate enough protein, you ate how much you really should eat, you would be full, you would be satiated, and you would be much less likely to overeat on your calories when you're overeating on low quality foods that are always going to be high in carbs and fats. Do you guys get my point where I'm going with that?
Well, of course, very valid point. Protein satiating, you're going to eat less.
Yeah, dude, you will eat less calories if you eat more protein. Well said.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Anyways, we can
Just
move
something
on.
if you guys
John.
ever want to explore this, look it up. The history of salt. Do you guys have any idea about the history of salt in any way? Because,
I just know it's really important.
basically like cities were formed where salt was produced and could be found. And animals, naturally, meat has sodium in it. And people, that was what they ate. So when they started eating vegetables, they needed salt to actually make it taste at least palatable. And so the history of salt is so crazy important. Wars have been fought over it way back when. Worth looking up. Anyways.
Yeah. Dude, have you guys ever seen like on National Geographic, there's like those antelope that will climb on these vertical cliffs just to lick the salt that's on the rocks. Animals will go out of their way, put their lives in danger just to get their salt intake. Bro, like salt's important if animals are doing that. Like animals in so many ways are smarter than humans because their intuition's just where it should be because they never. Anyways, I don't want to go off on a tangent.
Yeah. So next question comes from Anthony Ramirez, and he says, should I get deadlift bar only for deadlifting? I have a Rogo How bar and I like it, but it's loud and the knurl isn't the best for deadlifting. Chalk does help though. Anthony, my answer to you is, are you a powerlifter training for a powerlifting meet where you're looking to deadlift max weights? If not, I don't see it being worth it. I've tried deadlift bars and they bend a little bit, and but I don't think it's worth it personally.
I would say, Anthony, definitely get it because you've probably spent money on way dumber shit. Okay. That's actually that's a true statement.
It's
Okay.
true.
And dude, if it gets you more excited, more fired up to rip heavy deadlifts with a slightly thinner bar, aggressive knurling with a little bit more bend and whip in it, dude, fucking do it. All right. I would do it. Like I would go to a gym specifically in Dubai every week just because they had a deadlift bar and they had metal plates. And I fucking love the sound of ripping heavy deadlifts and the plates like clanging and banging on the floor. And there's something just so satisfying about it. And I definitely will be buying a deadlift bar soon once I get like a TrueStrength headquarters set up. So dude, like I said, there's worse things to spend your money on, man. It's probably John's right, probably not necessary, but it's not the worst thing that you could buy. Taylor Scott.
Well, the weights, he's talking about it being loud. The weights are usually what's loud, right? I don't understand why deadlift bar would be quieter. I'll just say, man, you don't need a deadlift bar. You don't need it. It's nice. It's nice. But Anthony, quite honestly, I don't think you're lifting enough weight, to really, really make a difference. It feels, it will feel better. I think it helps prevent injury somewhat, maybe, but there's a reason why we want you to, I was thinking about this too. There's a reason why we want you to flip the trap bar upside down so you could go further down. If you have a deadlift bar and it's bending up, that's less travel that you're doing. And in my opinion, you're going to actually get more out of lifting a bar that's not going to have so much whip in it.
Stiff bar. Scott, that's not an opinion. That's actually a fact. You will get stronger, bro. You will get stronger lifting on a stiffer bar with less bend because it's fucking harder. The reason people deadlift with deadlift bars is because it's fucking easier and it feels good. Okay. I'm only coming at it from the perspective if that like motivates and fires up Anthony to fucking rip heavy deadlifts, every week, and that just having more enthusiasm gets him stronger to rip some big heavy weights. By all means, go for it. He doesn't need it, but dude, if you want to do it or if you want to buy it, freaking buy it. What, Taylor? Go ahead and chime in on that.
If it's not necessary, but if you got the money and you want it, man, go do it. Right, like you say. Okay, if it's going to bring something positive to your training and you can afford to do that, man, then yeah, you want to optimize the enjoyment and practicality of your training, man. So, yeah. I think there's better ways to invest your money, but if you want to do it, bro, get after it.
Yeah, I do agree with that too. Like if it's going to make you love deadlifting more, then why not? Like at that, dude, sure. Same thing.
That excitement is going to wear off, though. I'll just say that.
Not for me, dude. I like it.
Okay. Next one comes from Hunter Stewart, and he says, "Your favorite singular memory from playing sports. By the way, your podcast is great. Love the content. Thank you, Hunter." Oh, favorite singular memory from playing sports. Oh man, who's got one?
Mine's pretty easy and it's pretty cliche, man. But I remember when I moved from the state of Georgia out to the state of Washington. I moved out there when I was a sophomore in high school to a region of the state that had never won a state championship, right? And so that was kind of my goal in high school, was to do that and bring home a championship to Southwest Washington. So we were the first school ever from our region in the state to win a state championship in football. That was enough. It's obviously a core memory because it's the last time, at least for me, that football was truly just fun, man. And you're playing it with your friends for the love of the game. Everybody's out there because they want to be, and there's not the pressure of somebody's job and the over scrutiny of coaches and stuff, man. So from an enjoyment and just joy and satisfaction, that's definitely it, man.
Yeah. Love that.
Tanner, what about you? Or Scott?
I'm actually going to echo exactly what Taylor says. So I made my best friends for life in college, but my greatest memory of sports is winning the 6A state championship as a senior in high school. We went 15-1. We should have went undefeated, but it doesn't matter. We won the state championship. I had a really good game. I finished off my high school career, on a high note. And just like what Taylor said, bro, you're playing football because you actually love to play it. It was pure. once went to D1 football, bro, it's people's jobs on the line, and just, it's a completely different feel when you're playing football in college. And so I did not have a good college football experience. I'm not going to go into that. Scott knows all about it, but yeah, my single greatest memory is winning the 6A state championship in high school for football.
Yeah, playing when money's not on the line and you're just playing for the love of the game, like it's cliche, but it's true. It's very true.
Yeah.
We've all felt it, right?
Mhm.
But for me personally, I was thinking about training camp. Right now, all the NFL guys are going through training camp. And so I was thinking about my training camp experiences earlier this week. So in 2015, I was with the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Lovie Smith was our head coach. He did not want me. He did not want me on that. He did not expect me to make the team. Okay, in training camp, when we started camp, I was going with the threes, maybe I was getting some reps at the threes, maybe, and doing basically practice squad. And then throughout training camp, I earned my way into getting a spot on the team, and that's my greatest memory. I think just looking back at it, at least recently,
Earning a spot.
earning a
Proving
spot on
somebody
the
wrong
team.
too, right? Like sticking it
That's
to
it.
that area.
That's it.
Wow.
It was a great feeling.
Yeah, that's all. Do you see? That's cool, Scott. You got to have that experience, bro, of like playing at the literally the highest level. That's something that very few people actually get a chance to experience. That's fucking cool. I would not have guessed that would have been your favorite one. Just
It
earning a
just
spot on
really
team, like
it meant a
earning the
lot.
right to just play, dude. That's awesome.
That's it. And I got to play. I was playing quite a bit that year too. But it was very satisfying knowing that I earned that. It wasn't
Yeah.
some contract thing that like money
Yeah.
they owed me or the
Yeah.
coach's saving face or anything. I earned that spot myself. It was a good feeling.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Dude, that's cool. How about you, John?
I'm trying to think of it, but like when I think back, I mean, if I look the 4 years of college football I played, the first year, I remember training camp. It was a new coaching staff at the time. They lasted 1 year, and it was by far the worst year of my four in terms of it was the hardest training camp I'd ever gone through. First of all, being your first year, and then they just ran us. And we started camp with, I think, 150 guys, and we finished with like 70 just because, and the guys that actually stuck with it and were still there, they lasted, mostly all for 4 years. And I mean, I'm trying to think, but that was probably one where we just, you had those guys who made it through that camp with asshole coaches, and, it's a good memory just to get through that. So
It's bonding. It's
Good question.
bonding, right?
100%.
It's bonding when you
Right.
have an asshole coaches and something hard to accomplish together.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. All right, moving on with questions. This is from Malak. She's here in Dubai. She's new with us, but she says, how do you know when to add more weights versus more reps? Yeah, I'll say, Malak, like very goal dependent. What are you trying to achieve? And what does your coach say? What does your coach told you to do? That's my answer. Tanner?
Good answer. And I just want to make this applicable to all our listeners, because not every listener is probably a custom client. The way I think about adding weight and reps is like progressive overload, most important principle in all of training. The most effective way to use progressive overload is to add weight first. That's what's going to make progressive overload the most effective. But there's not always times where you're able to add weight to all your lifts. So then at some point, maybe you're just lifting the same weight for more reps. That's just another form of progressive overload. But there's no right or you never know. You need to listen to your coach, and you need to make sure your form's dialed in. And it's listening to your coach is probably the best indicator of when to actually add weight or reps. Okay, because it's too broad of a question to answer specifically.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that.
I don't have
Okay.
anything to add to that, man. It's just case dependent on what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, that's such a broad question. It's hard to it's almost kind of hard to answer.
I do like the wave, the 3 week wave, the 865 especially. It's just it's an easy progression. It's an easy way to see when you need to add weight. But yeah, you're right, man. Add weight first. Add weight first.
If add weight when you can add weight, when you
Usually.
can't add weight. Yeah, no, when you can't add weight, you might just have to add reps.
Yeah. All else equal, add weight.
And so then this kind of moves into our next question from Casey Pedroza. And he says, with our compound lifts, do we always want to stay heavy, or can lowering the weight every once in a while be beneficial? I guess, beneficial in the fact that deload weeks make sense, where you back off for a week and you give yourself some extra recovery time and sort of a chance to that's kind of the only thing I see, though. Unless you guys have a different opinion. I mean,
No, it's funny. I was actually talking to Scott about this morning. I've had to take like a couple like deload or down weeks this year because I'm actually training with people this year. And so the level of intensity of my training this year has been greater than last year because I was training mainly alone last year and the years previous. And so I've noticed that me, Andrew, when we train, we'll train really hard. And it's like, dude, you're so exhausted, so tired. You can train hard for maybe like 3, 4, 5 weeks max. And then you literally need like a down week to kind of let yourself recover and adapt. And you can kind of go back to that curve of like, stress, recovery, adaptation, then super compensation, all kinds of things. I feel like that's almost become kind of auto regulated for me. I already know that I need to take kind of like a lighter training week, probably next week or the week after, just because I'm feeling kind of wore down. So you want to stay heavy, but lowering the weight can be beneficial. Like having a down week, it can be beneficial not only for your body physically, but also just mentally to make training sustainable long term. So that's why going on vacation is a good thing. Taking a break from training is actually a good thing. It will help you get back into training. It will make your training more sustainable. So that's my answer for Casey.
for some
Sorry,
people,
that was a long
for
answer.
some people,
Long answer.
some people
Yeah.
don't need time off. Okay. Casey's his second question, it says, just for fun, what is all your guys' temptation food that isn't great for you? All right.
Easy
Taylor?
for me.
I got two answers for this, and one of them's I guess both of them are pretty posh, so I feel kind of embarrassed to say them. But the first thing that I like to eat is called a focaccia, which is like this bread that's got oil and herbs and stuff on it. I like to have that with steak, or if I go on the hill and I can't carry a bunch of food with me, that's one of the things that I'll bring. That's not great for me, but it's quick, fast carbs. And the other is, I think we probably in New Zealand have the best chocolate there is on the planet. Right. It's called Whitaker's. And typically when if I'm at a ski resort or whatever with my family, or whatever, we go in for a coffee, I'll have one of those little Whitaker milk chocolate bars, man, with a coffee. And it's utterly fantastic. Although I'm not ideal for the body.
The
I thought
Swiss
Dubai
might
had the
argue with
best.
you.
Yeah, I thought
Fucking
Dubai had the best chocolate.
goddamn Dubai chocolate. It's not that good. and a Dubai chocolate, it's like $40 for a chocolate bar. It is crazy. It's insane.
Dude, what? That's the
know.
best marketing. That's the best marketing is what it is. I don't think it's the best chocolate. It's the best marketing.
I bought a bunch of those bars at the airport.
To give the girl credit who started it, she started in like her kitchen and it somehow went viral and she became a multimillionaire. So give her credit, but now you see it at Dairy Queen, everywhere, and they're it's very weird. Tanner, what about you?
Dude, I'm a sucker for cheesecake and carrot cake. I like that. Like if I'm going to indulge, which I'll do like once, maybe twice a month, honestly, because I have the flexibility in my diet to do it. And I enjoy going out to a nice dinner. I take Tinica, my wife, out to dinner at least once a month. So, yep. cheesecake and carrot cake. Those are my kind of guilty pleasures.
Cake eater, dude.
Cake eater.
That's dense. That's
Cake eater.
dense.
Yeah. So it's so true.
And for me, it's
Oh.
a good cinnamon bun. Oh man.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, yeah, a cinnamon bun or cinnamon roll. Those are
Cinnamon
legit.
roll.
Yeah,
Man. So for
I'm
me, it's
picky
like
when it comes to those. Hard
Yeah,
to find.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
true.
It's got to be the right one. It's got to be the right
it's
one.
got to be perfect,
Yeah.
and not like the center. You might as well just eat the center of them. You know.
Are you
But
one of
I
those
don't
dudes
know.
that goes to Cinnabon and gets all middles, bro?
Yeah, I would.
Is-
I would.
Can you do that?
Yeah, you can.
probably could.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. For me,
Right.
it's like how much time do y'all have? You know, like I
Oh,
love
dude, yeah.
food.
Oh, sorry, Scott.
Yeah. Choose just like your top two.
That's now that you're saying cinnamon rolls, I can't really think about anything else. I'm serious. That sounds so good.
Dude, cinnamon rolls are good. I'll tell you a quick funny story about Scott. Dude, I've never met anyone who consumes more candy in my life. And now he's kind of outgrown that, I think. But dude, when we were in college, entire 5 years of college, Scott would literally eat candy every day. And he would have these candies. If you guys never had them, they're hard to find. They're called trolley eggs.
I know.
They're like these jelly bean gelatin eggs, and they're freaking addicting. So Scott is a sucker for candy.
I used
Or
to
used
stop
to be
at gas
anyways.
stations.
Yeah.
And just get pile up on candy. Not even like
Dude.
post workout, pre work, not even around workouts. Just eating candy like whenever I wanted. I
Yeah.
can't believe I did that shit.
It's funny.
I'm sure you had the flexibility in your diet to do it.
He did, yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
All right.
Bobby Benedict, who might have the best pull-ups out of all our clients. For someone around 164 pounds who wants to look more aesthetic but still has some lower ab fat, would you recommend continuing a lean bulk or getting leaner first? How would you make that decision?
I feel like this is like a Hamza Hamid question.
Yes.
Okay. For someone around 164 who wants to get more aesthetic but still has some lower ab fat, would you recommend? Okay, I'm just gonna, the way he wrote this, I think if your main goal is to be more aesthetic and you just want to get leaner, then I wouldn't worry about the lean bulk part. I would literally just get leaner first. I would lose the lower ab fat until you're happy with your body fat and percentage in your body composition. Maintain that for probably 3 to 6 weeks. Maintain that lean aesthetic to kind of let your body kind of adapt to that. Like it's called like metabolic adaptation. I think you reach a lower body weight and then your body will naturally have a new level of maintenance calories a bit lower. Do that, maintain it for a while. Then you could start your lean bulk. That's my answer for Bobby. But dude, you're 164, man. That's a consideration too. Like I wouldn't want to be 164 and shredded. I'd much rather be like 200 pounds and jacked, but not actually shredded. But that's just me. Those are my goals. So Bobby, that's my advice for you and your goals.
Well
Okay.
answered.
Yep.
Yeah. What's up?
The next one comes from the other Tanner. I'm just putting
Tanner
it in
Nelson.
there. And he says, when weighing meat on the scale, do you track the number raw or after you cook it? For example, 8 ounces of raw hamburger isn't going to be 8 ounce cooked. Look, Tanner, I mean, the answer I'm going to give you is what app are you using to track your food if you're using, and it's going to have an option, uncooked or cooked. And you choose if you're weighing it cooked, then you put it cooked. If you're weighing it raw, put it raw. You should cook it first and then weigh it after it's cooked, though. That is the most accurate way.
But how you track it, exactly what John said. Thank you for saying that, John. It's exactly right.
You just gotta choose in the app, and then you go with one of those. All right, we're getting to the last two here. Next one comes from Jeffrey Christensen, and he says, training fasted versus training fueled. What are your recommendations?
I
Go
don't
for it.
enjoy
Yeah.
training fasted. All right. I like to have something in my stomach before I go do anything. And now it's not a lot. And typically it's not going to be anything that's protein heavy. Like this is me exclusively. If I'm waking up to go for a run or anything like active, I'll tend to have a glass of raw milk and I'll dump some maple syrup in it and mix it up and drink it. Right. Cause it's got a little bit of protein. It's got good carbs. Milk's very good for hydrating. And I think maple syrup's almost a superfood. So that's what I like to do. I know some people that like to do it. They like to train fasted. For me, it doesn't really work as well as if I have a little something in my stomach. But I think it's case dependent. But I would want to have something, at least some water or some kind of liquid carb beverage before I go get active, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like the fasted, to me, the fasted training, I mean, it burns more willpower and it doesn't burn more fat, So just get some carbs in there before you're training. And then let your daily calories do the fat burning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, Jeffrey, like there are some people that go, hey, I feel better training fasted. If you are then fine, like, then do it. But I think you got to test it. If you are training at, 5:30 in the morning and you feel better not eating first thing, fine. But, like Scott said, it's, your daily calories that's going to really make the difference. So, um, yeah. Tanner,
Well, and,
anything?
and then another strategy is carbing at night. If you're working out first thing in the morning, carb up at night with dinner before you go to bed. And then, training fasted becomes, it's better that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
My answer is personal preference. Whatever you prefer. Okay. That really doesn't matter, man. You guys already touched on it on all of those important points.
All right, and then his second question is, what are some mindset exercises I can do outside the gym to enhance performance inside? Scott touched on this earlier, but this is something I definitely do. Is like if I'm going in for a heavy snatch day, I'm thinking about that snatch, how it's going to feel, what it's going to look like, what the training environment's going to be like. You visualize that lift, your setup, everything. You go through it in your mind over and over, and very powerful. So I think just visualizing what you're actually going to do is huge.
So, visualization.
Yeah.
That's one of the best things you can do. Mindset exercises that you can do to enhance your performance inside the gym. All right. Like visualization 100%. And then I always like to just have the attitude of gratitude. Just be thankful that you're healthy enough to train. I think you're going to have a better workout inside the gym. You're going to get after your workout more if you're genuinely thankful to be there. So your perspective and visualization, probably the best mindset, tactics or, mindset exercises you can do to improve your performance.
Yeah. Anyone else? Anything?
Agreed.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Tam,
And then,
yeah.
Then our last question here, and this one comes from Brandon Hernandez, and he says, how might I go about working out after work when it's over 114 at times? I don't know how much experience some of you guys have working out rigorously outside during those type of heat waves. So I guess Brandon's saying like it's hot as hell outside. He's working outside because I know he does construction. And then how's he supposed to go to the gym after that?
I can answer that.
I can answer it. Yeah. Tanner?
Yeah. I was just saying, just make sure you're properly hydrated. Okay. And you're not being mentally weak. Okay. So we all have a lot of experience doing that. We all played football in the heat outside wearing pads, not just, doing construction, but fucking running around, hitting people, tackling, doing, exerting ourselves very physically in a very physical way. And then we'd have to go in and lift weights after that sometimes. Okay. So you can absolutely do it, Brandon. You just need to get your mind right. And bro, just be mentally tough. And just what's actually tougher, working out in the heat when you're tired or being fat, weak, and unhealthy. What is actually harder? So change your perspective.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon's been putting the work in.
I like Brandon. I know he does. I know he does.
So what I told him and I'm not sure if he's gotten this feedback yet, but what I told him is, look, if you're really tired, all right, if you're really tired, you don't have the time, whatever it is, just get your compounds in. Get your compounds in. Worst case scenario, keep that momentum going week over week. Do not let weeks go by where you're not going in, and at least getting your compound list in.
Dude, just yes, Scott, but do not negotiate with yourself. You do not allow yourself to talk yourself out of going to the gym just because you had a long, hard day at work or it was hot outside. Okay? That's
I
a
can't
weak
argue
ass
that either.
that's
You're
a
right.
weak ass pussy mindset. And that encourages mediocrity, Brandon. So I don't even really like the question, how he asked it, bro. You know, Brandon, you choose to work construction. You choose to work outside in the heat. That's a choice that you make. Okay. Just understand that. Now, you choose to be fat or you choose to be strong and jacked. You just, which choices are you going to make, man? Because that's literally what's going on in your life. You have to make the right choices.
Well,
I,
you're talking about choices. I think the better choice here is just choose to work out before, you go to your job.
and I'm going to give one different perspective where, if Brandon is saying, like, if he is having to work for, let's say, a 12-hour day outside and it's that hot and it's a heat wave and this happens 1 or 2 days in the summer, it may actually be the better thing to actually say, look, you might be more smoked than you've been in a long time, because this is not normal. It's way outside what you're used to. It may actually be the better choice to say, okay, you know what? I need to go and hydrate and just rest and not, move my workout to tomorrow. If this is just that one time where it's like, holy shit, working outside in 12 hours when it's that hot is very physical, that you can't really replicate. So that's another perspective as well. Um,
It's good distinction, John. Good distinction.
Yeah,
Important
but in
distinction.
this case, he's in Arizona and it's hot for what, 3-4 months,
right.
you
Is
can't
the
take that
gym
time back.
outside though? Is the gym outside or is the gym inside?
You got
It's
air
inside.
conditioning?
Okay.
It's inside.
Well,
Commercial gym.
I think that makes it pretty easy then. It's not hot
Yeah,
inside.
I think, Brandon, why don't you fucking get your ass to bed earlier, wake your ass up earlier, go to the gym. So that way you don't have to negotiate with yourself on whether or not to go to the gym after work. You just fucking go first thing in the morning. Problem solved.
All right. Well, we have
All right.
sorted that out.
There you go.
Well, look, everyone who's listened, we thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. You guys tuning in and listening. We'll be back next week, and you guys appreciate your time, and go get after it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Good talk, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.